Over the summer, I have attended every Governor's Council meeting that they have had, and I have seen the process firsthand. And the question comes up, in order to review a judge for an appointment for life, are you able to do that in an afternoon? Are you able to vet somebody to know if they're going to serve the public and serve them well in just an afternoon of questioning and a questionnaire that's issued to them? And I would like to find if that's really appropriate, if that's an efficient system of instituting judges, and if there may be a better system of doing that. I also would like to add some balance and ensure that the public is represented. I think that's about it. If anybody has any questions, I'm running a little ragged today as it's the end of the day and I've had a long day of standouts and work, but yes.
What kind of small business do you run?
I had a couple of farmers.
Okay, and just quickly, I'm curious, what do you think of just Kagan, for instance, having no judicial bench experience? I'm just really curious.
I'm not an advocate of Kagan at all.
I know, but I mean, forget her. Just in general, what do you think about a scholar or someone else, some other kind of experience sitting on the bench?
I was against it. I don't think she had the proper experience. Okay. Yeah, I think that she did need the experience on the bench. Nice. Yes.
Are you pro-life?
Yes, I am. I know that question always comes up. I am. I nevertheless believe Roe versus Wade kind of dictates things. But to answer the question simply, absolutely yes. Yes, Barry.
Another issue is justices of the peace are appointed by they're approved by the Governor's Council, correct?
Absolutely. Some of the other issues that the Governor's Council is involved with, and I didn't mention, they do approve justice of the peace, notary publics. They have to approve of disbursements from the Treasury in case there's a...
But the reason I asked about justice of the peace is they do perform marriages. There's no suspicion when you hear, the grapevine that there are justices of the peace that perform marriages to help illegal aliens marry American citizens who violate immigration laws. Is this something that you think should be, better looked into?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm a strong proponent of legal immigration. I am very much against illegal immigration. In fact, that's a point that I would probably question nominees. Thank you for mentioning questioning nominees very sternly on. Absolutely. Thank you for asking. Something I left out. Yes.
Are you supporting Karen Polito for treasurer?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I am.
Thank you, Paul.
Anyway, thank you, Bernie. Thank you for having me.
As I said before, I've always made an effort to try to make sure that the members of the Medford Committee are as informed as anybody on any issue, whether it's the Green Line, which certainly is starting to show the question of who's really making the money on this deal. It seems to be developers. I have a question which I hope to ask at City Hall, because I understand there is at least 2 parking garages being planned in the College Avenue area, and that would be made available. I don't know if anybody's thought about the impact, such as Route 16 or even College Avenue, if that ends up being the terminus for a few years. If Mr. Kraft gets its way and the smaller stadium is built in Brick Bottom, and its reason being that it has its close proximity to the most number of people who follow that sport, what would happen if 1,000 cars came from Lawrence and Lowell and parked in Medford to take the train to go to Brick Bottom to watch a game? I don't know if anybody's ever thought of the impact of that isn't going to necessarily just be during daytime business hours, but nighttime for people who go to events in Boston. The which fest?
Lots of money in fines.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but it also impact on the residents. I just throw those 2 points out because there will be a Medford City Hall meeting coming up on that, and I think those are some of the questions that need to be posed, not only to the people who purport to be answering the questions, but to the city councilors who ultimately need to speak up, because at the recent Green Line meeting, they report right now that the plans that are being proposed, such as the stations, are about at the 10% level. And at the end of the time when the format of the stations in Somerville and Medford are presented to the public, although the Medford stations seem to only be presented when they're in Somerville, they don't seem to get presented when they're here inside the jurisdiction of this community. But in any case, that will reach a 25% level. And when they get approval by DOT, they would be at 40%, which means that in a 2-year window, if this mayor and this city council doesn't make it clear whether or not the plans are acceptable and the impact on the citizens of this city is just and fair, there will be a no turnaround. That if the mayor and the city council waits long enough, they'll have no say, and you and I will have no say. Point it out for any of you that haven't followed or attended any of the Green Line meetings. Perhaps you may not be in a neighborhood that's as safe from intrusion and in parking from people who may take your regular spot when you least expect it. Anyhow, moving on. As I said, Dave Cavagnali has a family business tonight, so he wasn't going to be able to speak to us about what's going on with his campaign. But we do have one of the candidates that are running for state representative, who's a friend of the committee, happens to be running as an independent, but clearly a lady with a goal to get elected. And I would have great pleasure yet again introducing Carla Romero.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you to the chairman for his generosity for allowing me time to speak to you. My name is Carla Romero. I'm running for state representative in the 35th Middlesex District, and I'm excited to be here tonight to let you know that, yes, I am an independent candidate. I am a fiscal conservative, and I'm announcing tonight one of our greatest endorsements, which came from the Citizens for Limited Taxation 2.5 Pact. So that should ensure you that I agree with our motive of reducing taxes, reducing mortgage taxes, your taxes to do business here in the state of Massachusetts, which should bring back jobs and bring back the ability to hire people and just grow our economy and put people back to work here in Massachusetts. So with that said, I will also like to tell you that I'm also pushing for legislation that helps to protect children. I am a champion of children. I'm a foster parent. And what I'd like you to also know this evening is that Massachusetts, this is key, take notes. Massachusetts is #1 across this entire nation for child abuse and neglect. So that's something that not a lot of people know about, but it's something that we definitely need to address, and we need to reverse that statistic. So one of the things that I'm trying to do is to propose tougher legislation. You can talk to me a little bit more about that, or you can also add me on Facebook to see a lot of the dialogue that I've had about reducing those statistics here in Massachusetts. So on Facebook, I am Vote Carla Romero, and pretty simple. You can give me a call at home to let me know what some of your issues are, or also to join us on Election Day. We need sign holders. We need people putting out information to voters. We also need people to do some door knocking. I want to thank all of you that are here tonight and all of you sitting at home who weren't able to come out tonight for your support, and I ask you for your continued support. It is all of you who got me on the ballot, all of you who went door to door, you know who you are, who wore the sneakers out, the bottoms out, going door to door. I thank you, because your support is what's making this possible. When no one else believed in Massachusetts, we understand there's a dark cloud. We believed in Massachusetts, and that's why we are running together. I ask for your continued support, and I also want to speak to that young girl who came up to me the other day. We had a political event that we were doing some handshaking, and she says to me, you know what? I remember when they said that women belong in the house. And I respond to her, yes, darling. Women belong in the House and Senate. So with that, I ask you for your continued support. Let's make more changes. Let's make history here in the 35th Middlesex District. I will be the first female state representative representing Malden and Medford. And that's all I've got to tell you, folks. Give me a call, 781-321-0406. Let me know what your concerns are. Let me know which poll you'd like to work at. And bring some of your issues to the table. Thank you so much.